This is Masodi.
Hi everybody, this is Omid.
So in this session, we are going to do a retrospective on the previous session that we've had so far. We've almost, I think, shooted 10 sessions now, and I would like to look back to see what we've done and the path that we've come so far. So let me collapse all the functions. This is the overall view of the application we have written so far, the program that we've written. It is constructed from tens of functions. I think it has 3 data structures. These are data structures. These are not objects, you know. The instance that we create from them, off of them, are not called objects. The discussion that we had before, prior to shooting. So these are only memories that we create. These are only templates of memories for grouping pieces of information together. And data structures, we've got these 4 or 5 global variables that are the state of our application. These indicate the current state of our application. All of the shopping carts, all of the products, the shop name, and the customers. So if we be able to store and restore them, we'll be able to store and restore the current state of the application at each run. So we refactored a lot, but as I said before, there are a lot of things wrong with this application currently. These global variables, or using, for example, loops that are ugly in the old-fashioned way that I remember we tried to introduce and work a bit with these passing functions, first-order functions. Like, for example, for iterating over a list, we wrote a function for each that took the list and also took a lambda that helped us to make the application to read well. For each inside my list, print ln it, and it reads very well. But that wasn't intro to the functions. We will see a lot from them, from passing functions to functions. For now, I just get rid of them, remove them, and I bring back the application we had uncommented. Restoring and restoring, yes. So let's say we want to publish this application at this current state and create an executable or runnable or something, some kind of that. For example, an APK for installing on Android. This is not an Android application. This is a console application. This needs terminal or command prompt on the Windows. There is no UI, user interface for this. The user interface is just printing and reading off of the console or terminal. So let's say we want to create an executable. So, for example, let's say we want to sell this program at this current version and give it to our customers, our shop managers to use it. So we cannot tell them to install this IDE and press this button here and run the application from here. We should compile and build and create some kind of executable. And because because the Kotlin is a JVM language, Java Virtual Machine, which run on top of the JVM like Java or many other languages, the output of the application is a jar file. So if we want to ship our application, we should ship it in a jar file. So I wanted to show. Oh, not. Shit.
What happened?
We don't have internet. I think the internet is off. I wanted to show you guys So next session maybe I'll do that. I want to show you guys the Kotlin compiler in the Kotlin website. If you go to Kotlin website, I've got no internet access here. I'll show you next session. You can download the Kotlin compiler. It has Kotlin compiler for Windows, Mac, and Linux there. You can download it based on your operating system. And I've put the Kotlin compiler here. I have it here. So because I've copied and pasted the Kotlin compiler, if I run a terminal, let me just minimize the IDE. Let's say for the moment that we do not have IDE, and we have to write our application like back old dark ages, with only the compiler itself. Each compiler is actually an application. You know, compiler. These IDEs have abstracted away how the application is compiled and run. You know, when you press this button, a lot of things are happening. Behind the scenes, a lot of things are happening, and it's worth going and doing things, you know, like for yourself to see what happens. So if you say you don't have these IDEs, these fancy IDEs, there is no IDE, integrated development environment, I think it stands for that. Say you don't have this Android Studio or IntelliJ IDEA or Visual Code, and you want to write the program from scratch, from text files, and compile it with the compiler itself from the command line. What is it? What is a Kotlin application? Kotlin application, actually, like any other programming language, consists of a bunch of files. Yes, bunch of textual files. So in this case, we've got only one file, and in Kotlin application, all of the files should have an extension of .kt, main.kt, for example, and it has got 324 lines. This is our application. It only has one file. Yes. So if we want to, we cannot ship this file to our customers because they are not executable. These are only text files. We should first compile this program, compile all of the files together, and make an executable, and then ship that executable to the customer. So in order to compile this, we have to run a terminal. This is Linux, Ubuntu. In macOS also there is terminal, and in Windows I believe there is command prompt, CMD, and you have to put the Kotlin on your environment path, and putting something on your environment path, you know, differs on which OS you are using, and maybe I'll teach you that later, teaching you the. So if you put the Kotlin compiler, the one that I showed you before, I had my Kotlin compiler here. In this is the path that I put my Kotlin compiler. It has these files, Kotlin C, and I have added this bin folder to the environment path of my OS. So if I say Kotlin, it will recognize that. It will see that file. You know, as you can see, it has opened, it has connected to Kotlin. Let me interrupt that. Now, let me open a terminal here in this folder in desktop shop src. We are here, and if I say ls, we've got this only main kt file. So I want to compile this to a jar file. For compiling, I have to call Kotlin C, which the Kotlin C takes a bunch of .kt files or a folder of kt files and compile them into .class files or a jar file. So I say, let me just ignore this part, include runtime, just ignore that. And I say with this dot, no, I can say, please compile this main kt, also include runtime, and output shop.jar. If I press enter, it is now compiling the application. Now it is complaining. No. It is a warning. It is not. If there is any error in your application, it will tell you and it won't compile. But it gave me a warning that variable new price is not used. We just ignore that for the moment. So as you can see, the shop.jar, it has created us a shop.jar, yes? Now I can go ahead and run that shop.jar with the Java application. Java, if you also install Java Runtime or JDK and put it on your environment path, you should be able to access it. For example, let me access Java. If I enter Java, you can see that I'm actually running some kind of application somewhere, like this Kotlin C. So this Java also has been put to the environment path, and in order for running a .jar file, you have to use Java -jar. Yes. So we've not created some kind of .exe executable to double click on it and run it. You can do that on Windows. You can write some kind of .exe file. I've done that before, which when you double click, it will actually run this statement that we are writing here. So I'm telling Java -jar shop.jar. Yes, I press enter. The application runs here, as you can see. Now, if I say, for example, 1, create new product, Apple, and press 1000, and I say 6, print product list. Oh, it is printing the product list from before. So let me exit application. Go ahead and do some. So
because it reads from the file.
Yes. Storing and restoring to file. We have given it an absolute path. I want to give it a relative path. If I get rid of these folders before the path, so if I gave it this, it will create this file from where we run the application. That will be called our working directory. So if we run application from here, that we are doing now, we are running application from here. This folder will be our working directory, and it will create this file here, and it will read from this file here. So I save my application. As you can see, I'm writing application without any need to this IDE. Yes?
Yes.
I saved it. I delete this. Now I again ask Kotlin C to compile it. And if I run the application, it is telling that file not found exception, shop.txt. The application is running, but we've got an error. I think I know why. Because the restoring file, it is on line 281 here. It is trying to read off of a file which does not exist yet. There is no shop.txt here, yes? So I have to say if store file dot exists and put an exclamation mark here. If does not exist, if file does not exist, yes, please return from here. And don't read from something that does not exist. I save it, delete it, compile it. It's clear to see it better. If I run and say create an apple for 1000 or orange for 2000, you'll see that it is creating our shop.txt file here. And if we open it, you'll see that it is storing the things in it the way that we told it to do so.
To save.
Yes. And if I say please print the product list, it is printing these two. And if I exit and then run application again
and say number 6
and say 6, it will print the product list again. So our application now is storing the
retrieving
and retrieving the product list, not the customer shopping carts or customer names. So I think it is enough for now. Next session I'll show you how to download the Kotlin compiler, and we'll continue from there. Yes.
Good.
Bye.